Hi, it's Mark Cleggold here, and we're talking about using the Liquify tool, but new face recognition through CC. So when I'm using any form of filter with a layer, if possible, I'm going to convert it into a smart object. So I've got an undo or a redo option. So I'm just on the layer, I'm just going to right click it and convert to smart object. Then I'm ready to go. So if you're used to liquefying, it's the same way. So it's filter and liquefy. But what it's going to do now, it actually sees that there's a face within the image, and it's giving you an option now for this face aware liquefy. All right, and as you can see, it's got face #1 here. So if there were several faces within the scene, it'll do one at a time. So this is quite a complicated background behind. So if we were doing any real retouching with this photograph in the likes of Photoshop, it's going to take us a little bit of time. But here it's going to kind of do a lot of the work for us. So the first thing is to just toggle each of these kind of categories down. So eyes, nose, mouth, and face. And what I'm going to do now is just show you in turn kind of how I adjust it. So when I'm looking at the face here, I want a slightly bigger height in the eye. So I can just actually select the second one down, which is the expand, contract the eyes vertically. And all I'm doing is here is just actually moving it to the right, which makes it bigger, or moving it to the left, which makes it smaller, of course. But I want to make it bigger. I'm going to use the eye size, which is the first one, just a little bit now, just to make them a little bit bigger. And then as far as the eye width is concerned, perhaps I'm going to restrict them or make them that little bit bigger. I think restricting them is going to be fine. And then as far as the eye distance is concerned, I'm sure you're going to go in and actually play around with all these things anyway, but I don't really need to adjust that at all. Nose height though, let's take that upwards. So in other words, let's just move that to the right hand side, and you can see how it's shrinking the nose upwards in size, as well as actually the nose width. Let's kind of just narrow that a little bit more. This girl's got an absolutely beautiful smile anyway, but I've got an option to actually just increase that smile just a little bit. The upper lip, I can kind of move it upwards to thicken that lip just a little bit more. The lower lip I think is thickest anyway, so there's no problem. As far as the mouth width is concerned, just make that just a little bit bigger to fit the face. And then the mouth height obviously will kind of just open it up just a little bit more, but I think she's perfect as she is there. And then for the last ones, we're looking at the face shape. So the forehead to begin with, we could shrink that down just a touch. Then as far as the chin height is concerned, we can kind of take that upwards just a little bit more, or of course you can see by the left hand side I can kind of make it longer, but let's move that just up a little bit. The jawline, I think it's pretty good anyway, but it's just going to thin that in at the neckline specifically. And then last but no means least is that face width, just actually the overall. But what we're seeing here, in fact, is a really great job by Photoshop, as it's looking at all the background that's behind, and it's a really distracting background. It's really coping exceptionally well with that. So once I'm done there, I just press OK. And if we just do the open, that's where it was before, and that's where it is now. I think you can see there's a big difference to that image, especially for the likes of models and everything else, where they just need to kind of fix just that little bit more. Some little things to fix here, of course. Where we've kind of hide that nose, I think we need to actually blend in that shadow below the nose there and things really. And of course we've got the background space that's kind of appeared now, because obviously we lowered that at the top of the frame and it's kind of showing the background, but we could kind of retouch those without any trouble. I mentioned that I wanted the option to be able to go back in there and change things perhaps. That's why I created a smart object from the layer before I began. And to do that, all I need to do is click onto Liquify here on the smart filter, and it brings me straight back into the Liquify panel here with all the options that I just kind of adjusted. So if I felt that forehead was actually okay to begin with, I've just got ahead and actually correct that, press OK again, and then I'm back to square one. Okay, so it's having the option to step backwards. That's what that smart object's allowing us to do, especially when we're working with the face recognition in Liquify. Allows us to kind of come out, have a little look, go back in, make some adjustments so we don't overdo the effect, of course.